Stood very well. And now I'm going to call upon another familiar face, Ms. Jimmy Sins, to come and say a few words.
This is a lot easier.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, thank you for having an open house today. And I want to thank my sisters for the refreshments, because they spent time cooking and making all of us welcome, because that's what we do when we get together. We break bread together. And we share food together, because that's what families do. I'm not here today as a political entity or anything else. I'm here as your neighbor. I just live 3 blocks just up 136 there. And over the last few years, I have really got to know the community really well. I've lived in it, and I've worked very, very closely with the directors, especially with Brother Musa there. And I want to talk a little bit about education here. And I want to commend Brother Musa. We did some shared work together, and Param is here. He used to work with me earlier. And we worked very closely with the Masjid at 72nd and 124, and with the BCMA, trying to break down stereotypes. And we actually had amazing sessions with a lot of youth, because I really believe education is where it's at. But what's brought us here today, I believe, is our hearts. Our minds have not brought us here, it's our hearts, because we have all been touched, first by people south of the border. I do not want to mention any name. It's kind of targeting certain countries, a certain religion. Secondly, by what we saw happening in our Canada, in our own backyard, in Quebec. And I want us to reflect on that for a moment. Those 6 men, when they left home, what did they do? They went to pray to their God. At no time did they think that while they were in the most sacred and a place that should be one of the safest havens, that they would not be coming home. And think of those families, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, sons, daughters, who have to come to terms with that, so our heart goes out. Because this is Canada's tragedy. This is Canada's tragedy, and we're all touched by it and hurt by it. And I want us to get back to education. Being a teacher, I've always said teachers are my heroes. If it wasn't for teachers, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I'm so proud of the fact that you took the time, my friend. Most of us were feeling it, but you sat down and you penned onto paper your feelings. And that has opened and made this occur. And I believe through education and getting to know each other, that's how the doors are going to be open. I'm going to finish off with one last point. Our young people are going through a very difficult time. If we think as adults, it's easy for us to understand. I cannot understand, I cannot excuse, I cannot even imagine. I want us to think about our young children, and my plea with the community is, talk to your children. It doesn't matter how young, or even if they're 17, 18, sit them down and talk to them. There's amazing stuff on the teacher's website, BCTF, under Islamophobia. There is amazing stuff out there on the grieving process. The grieving process has 7 stages. And we need to make sure that we talk to our young before they get to that angry stage. because we have to work with them on the basic tenet that love wins over hate. Love wins over anger. So whatever assistance I can give in working with youth, I am a trained counsellor, and work with youth on going through those stages, or even the ladies group or a mixed group, I am prepared to come and do that. And other than that, what I will say is, when I taught comparative religions at university, I was telling Musa this, and you put a chart on a wall, the religions have far more in common than not. So let us, brothers and sisters, focus on what we have in common and grow love, so that we can have a Canada where every child, no matter what the color of the skin, what religion, what ethnicity, that they can blossom like flowers in a garden, where there are no clashes, only glory. Thank you so much to the directors for hosting this and for giving us an opportunity to share humanity.
Thank you so much, Jenny, for your kind words. And next I will bring upon Puneet Sandra to say a few words.
Thank you very much, and I promise I'll follow your instructions to stay brief. And I'm going to put this mic back on here, because for taller people it's easier to lean on the dais. Thank you, Gordon, for sharing your views, and I'm sure all of us feel the same way, and thank you for arranging this. I think this is wonderful. We were at the Fiji and Ismaili Center a few days ago, and the learned scholar Sabu spoke there. He mentioned the same thing, that we need to open our doors, we need people to come in and see what actually happens inside the mosque, because we don't want a few ignorant people to show the rest of the world that it's a closed door, and inside there, his exact words were, that people think that, you know, they're young kids trained in arms, and you know, that's the perception, right? And Maulana Saab had just earlier mentioned that what we do in a mosque. We come in, we take our shoes off, we wash our hands, we come and we pray, we bring our kids, and then we also educate our kids. Isn't that what we do? When I go to the Gurdwara, we do the same thing. You know, we take our shoes off, wash our hands, go in and pray. I've been to a mandir before, that's exactly what they do there. I've been to church before as well, and they, you know, it's the same thing. We walk in and we pray. So, you know, we may have different names. We may call ourselves Muslims or Hindus or Sikhs or Christians, but I think we all, the foundation is the same. We all go into our homes of worship and our places of worship, and we do exactly the same thing. That's how I was raised. I was raised, you know, being told that God is one, to respect each other. And I'm very confident that that is exactly our community over here is. I mean, a few ignorant people with hatred in their hearts cannot really decide whether people of one belief are better than other, or people of a particular belief are not good as others. And I'm very confident that this is the society that we've created. I've been here for 14 years. And I think 10 out of those 14 Eids I've spent with two families over here, with the Baksh family and the Bamji family, and I'm very, very confident that it's going to continue the same way, that my kids are going to be growing in this society, in this community, are going to learn to respect each other's faiths, each other's beliefs. And as important as it is for us to educate our next generation, I think it is important to also believe that things won't change. This one incident that has happened in Quebec is not going to define how our society runs. It's not going to define how our community runs. It's not going to define how we interact with people of other beliefs that may be different from what I believe in. I think what defines us is what's happening here. What defines us is how Gordon feels, and what defines us is the fact that all of you have taken time out of your busy schedules on the day that has such a harsh weather to come here and to be able to interact. And that is what is going to define us. And I'm very confident, inshallah, that our community is going to stay the way it is. And that is the reason why we're all here. So So I won't take a lot of your time, but I would want to definitely take a few seconds to pass my prayers and convey my condolences to the families of the victims and the ones who are still in hospital struggling, and to the ones who will be living with this aftermath for the rest of their lives. May the souls that are gone, their souls rest in peace. But I am very, very positive that those things are not going to change anything amongst us. We are going to continue to live the way we are and to share the love and the respect that we have for our beliefs and each other's beliefs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Puneet. Very well said. Next on the list is Mr. Bruce Lonston, and would like to come and speak, please.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. I think Brother Roman was saying that he was regretting somewhat that up until now the mosque, the Masjid, had not opened its doors to the community. And I don't think we should regret that. I think we should be celebrating that, because in many ways, opening the doors this week is a very simple but very powerful gesture of solidarity, not only with those who were killed and injured in Quebec, but it's a solidarity with our community. And I think it's a very moving gesture this week particularly, because it is at this level, the community level, where we really get to know each other. Sometimes people are talking up here, you see people on the television, they seem perhaps, while they may touch us, they seem somewhat distant. But it is here in our own communities where we come to know each other on a personal basis. We come to know places like this ourselves and intimately. And I think that is what builds the kind of trust, that is what builds the kind of tolerance, and that is what builds the kind of understanding that we need to go forward. So on this occasion, thank Gordon for initiating what he did, and Brother Roman and the directors of this Masjid for opening the doors. And what is here? It's a community united in faith, and when we think of this community, we reflect upon what happened in Quebec. People very much like us, at a moment of prayer. When someone, imagine if someone came through that door right now, could be very, very devastating. So I think it's a very powerful gesture, and I want to thank you for inviting me. I do want to express the sentiment of our leader, John Horgan, and I also want to acknowledge the presence of Rahmah Singh, a candidate for Surrey Green Timbers, and we stand in solidarity with the community here in Surrey, in British Columbia, in Canada, and in the world. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bruce. Next, I'm going to call upon Mr. Hay Baines to come and say a few words.
Assalamu alaikum. It's been a few days that we are going through this mourning process, at the same time reflecting back what happened and where we go from here. And I think lots been said here about our unity, about how do we stand together, support each other, to send a clear message to those who are trying to divide us, that they will not succeed. And they will not succeed. And you know, Canada, what I see, the values of Canada, many people have a different interpretation, but there are 2 or 3 things that bind Canada together. Multiculturalism, inclusiveness, and respect for our differences. That's what Canada is all about. When some leaders out there, for their own political reasons, whether they're on this side of the border or on the other side of the border, they want to vet new Canadians or potential new Canadians, how they pair with their Canadian values, and that's how we're going to allow them to come to Canada. But those are our values. And those leaders actually do not fit in that mold. So I don't know what we're going to do with them. You know, as was said here, they were born here, so it's hard to send them anywhere. But also that is part of Canada as well. We try to work and educate each other about who we are. And we don't give up on each other. People that came here before us, we had challenges. You know, not to this extent, but there were challenges. There were riots, race riots in Canada. And they were moved to keep visible minorities out, people that do not look like Europeans. But I think those people decided what kind of Canada they want to become. And the Canada that we are inheriting, all of us here, is the Canada that they shaped. Inclusiveness, love for all our differences, multiculturalism. I think that's the Canada we want to continue to promote. And we can do that. And we are going to send a clear message. And I said this before, and I'm sure the world community is getting together, sending a message to the President Trump that his divisive policies, demagoguery of politics, is not acceptable in 2017. And that we're all united to tell him and others who think like him that we will not stay silent. And we are going to continue to work together to make sure that our values are upheld. And that's where you come in as well. Because we are getting together, we are sending a clear message. Thank you so much, Gordon. Because it's easy to watch something that you don't like. But taking the next step like Gordon did is what Canadians are all about. And that's where I think we need to go. Let's continue to hold hands together, stand with each other. It should not just end today or next week. We need to continue with these events months, years later, so that we can once again show the world that love will conquer hatred. That's what the message from Prophet Muhammad was. That's our, I think, duty to make sure that we spread that message and we practice that message. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you so much, Harry, for your kind words. Before we go downstairs and fight with the samosas and the bhajiyas, we have one more speaker, and Rashna Singh is here, and she will say a few words.
Brothers and sisters, first of all, my deepest condolences. Okay. Yeah, my deepest condolences for what happened last week, and I stand in solidarity with all of you. So, as all the speakers have said, we all are shocked by what has happened. But since Donald Trump's election, since he came into picture, and kind of the hatred that we were seeing, and the hatred that he was trying to propagate, and we were trying to create a dialogue within the community to bring awareness, what can happen if this kind of person comes into power. And now what happened in Quebec, that has in fact brought our deepest fears into reality. And I'm so sorry that it has happened. I would say it is not just an attack on the Muslim community, it is an attack on the basic thread of what Canada is. As Brother Harry has mentioned, it is an attack on our multiculturalism, on our diversity, and this is what we are here together to fight for. And I stand in solidarity with all of you, and we need to bring the awareness, the education to our youth and to all the communities together so that we can fight it back. So I know these are very tough times we are going through. We are reeling in grief, and I know different kind of emotions are we are feeling. But it is time to get together and fight against this. Fight against the divisive forces so that we can send a very clear message that we are united, and those like few people who are there to divide us, they cannot win. So we can all do this together. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Before the closing remarks, is there any one of the neighbors who would want to come up and speak? You're most welcome to do so. And that's okay if you don't, because I'm getting hungry as well. Anyways, the whole point of this occasion is to remember these 6 brothers who have passed away, who have lost their innocent lives in the shooting. And like I said before, the lost lives have not gone in vain. That has actually made us come here together today, and that has opened the doors of all the masjids around the world to show everyone else that we are the same, that we are brothers and sisters. Like some brother was saying, that we are from Adam and Eve. We have one father and one mother, and we're the lineages of Adam and Eve. So in the end, we are brothers and sisters. So in the closing remarks, I would like to remember the 6 people who passed away in that shooting. And it's just fitting to remember them on this occasion. And we pray to God, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He gives them the best place in paradise. So the 6 victims were Azadin Sufyan, he was 57 years old. Khalid Belmati, he was 60 years old. Ibrahim Aberi, 39 years old. Bandu Tonuberi, 42 years old. Abdul Karim Hussein, 41 years old. And Babika Tabti, 44 years old. This is a big loss that we have had in our community. And I will ask our Imam Sahib to pray for their souls, that they get the best place in paradise. And this is the lesson for all of us, that incidents like this make us all come together. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you.
Let's make dua for them. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wal aqibatu lil muttaqeen wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث. اللهم احفظنا أنت خير الحافظين. اللهم ارحمنا أنت خير الراحمين. اللهم انصرنا أنت خير الناصرين. اللهم ارزقنا أنت خير الرازقين. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. O Allah, grant the innocent murdered ones forgiveness and mercy, and give patience to their families, and heal the injured ones in the hospital or at home. And O Allah, make us stronger and more steadfast in our pledge to worship and obey you. O Allah, protect all of us, protect our children, protect our country. O Allah, we want to live in peace, and everybody wants peace. O Allah, give us peace, peace in our soul, peace in our family, peace in our community, peace in our country, peace in the whole world. O Allah, accept our this little bit effort, and as we are united today in front of you, keep us always united and give us strength and make us obedient to yourself. O Allah, accept our dua, accept our sitting, and O Allah, protect all the prayer religious places where people get together and worship you. Allah, protect all Muslims or non-Muslims, every human being May Allah protect their faith, protect their children, protect their families. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم. Thank you so much. Thank you. So proceed once again downstairs. Some refreshments is still waiting for you. You can have refreshment, please. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.